Sam. I'm going to try not to ramble as much as I possibly can to get through all this. It's a little bit more complicated. You're the first person that's asked for something the specific as far as the endurance for a sport, so I have something, but I want to go over it in a little bit more detail than I usually do. So, um, the program essentially consists of three parts, which is nutrition or like your dieting, um, training. That is so all exercises. That's your resistance training. That's jujitsu. That's your um, cardio, we'll call it, and then recovery is the third. So we'll start with diet because that's the easiest. This is the most excited I've been about somebody's diet that I've put together because you actually want to gain a little bit of weight. So um, most that I put together is more of a calorie deficit. So there's not quite as many options. So, anyways, I'll get right to it. For your calories, what we're doing is a maximum amount of calories per day, and then a minimum amount of protein. I think I mentioned that in one of the messages back and forth. So, um, you'll probably notice that being at the weight that you are with the losing of weight in the last year, not really intentionally, I'm assuming that you're under eating in general and that you are probably, actually most certainly, eating too, um, you're eating too little protein, even for the amount of calories that you're eating. So um, I break it down in a way where you don't want to be gaining weight rapidly. You will gain a little bit of water weight probably at first, just based on um, the volume of food that you're eating. But you really want to gain like a pound or no more than two a week for a short period of time. If you gain weight too rapidly, the same as problem as if you lose weight too rapidly, you will. So if you're gaining weight too fast, you'll put on fat or too much fat. You're always going to put on some fat, but it's very, very small. You don't really notice it for a while. The idea is that you put on weight slowly, and right as you start to notice it, then you cut back down again. And so you lean back out. That's kind of like a constant cycle of building muscle, losing fat. Anyways, for calories, it's going to be 2,700 a day. I don't know whether or not you'll think that's a lot. When you start to track it, you'll probably see that that's more than what you were eating before. And as far as what to eat, I don't have, I don't tell people what they should be eating. You should eat how you eat now, as long as you're comfortable that you didn't talk about having any digestive issues. So I would definitely stick to the way that you're eating if you don't have any digestion issues. But you are going to be able to eat a little bit more. So if you end up eating more, processed food and stuff, you might not feel as good in your digestion. So that would be something I would monitor. 2,700 calories in whole food is not really a problem. That's pretty easy to do. I don't care whether it's fat or carbs. You do it as you feel comfortable. Some people like more higher fat. Some people like more higher carb. I personally like more of a higher carb, but again, it's a personal thing. So I don't like to tell people what they should be eating, just how much. So 2,700 calories a day. And don't worry, I'll send you an email with kind of a bullet points of all these things because I do talk a lot through this. Um, so 2,700 calories, protein is 140, which is not that bad to hit. If you want to break it into meals, you had 3 meals a day. I would make that 4 if I were you. That's one recommendation I would do. So that would be between 30 and 40 grams of protein per meal 4 times a day. So if you have 40 per meal, then you have 160, which is fine. And if you have, you only on a day where you only have 30 per meal, you only have 120, not a huge deal. But you want to stick to as close to those numbers as possible. Do you have to be exact every single day? No. I mean, you're going to have days where things are going to happen and you're going to go a little over, a little under, or whatever. But the closer you can say to these numbers, the better we can see what's working, what's not working. Every person, regardless of if you had 2 people who weighed the exact same, trained the exact same, looked the exact same, they could burn 2 very different levels of calories a day just at rest. And there's no real way to tell that until you start to try things. So this is a guess as far as how much to eat. It's always a guess, no matter who's doing it. There's no exact science to it because everybody's metabolism is a little bit different, and everybody burns. You can have an educated guess, but there's always a little bit of a variance. So the closer you can stay to these numbers, the better it is to determine what's working and not working. So if it's you're gaining weight too fast with this many calories, then we would cut back. If you're not gaining it fast enough, then we would maybe increase it a little bit. So, but it's very, very small numbers. So I would do 4 meals a day. You can do 3 in a snack or 3 in a protein shake or something. However you want to break it down, doesn't really matter. Whatever works for you, whatever is comfortable for you, whatever fits in with your lifestyle. I would suggest the Nutrition IX app. It's free. It's the easiest. It's basically like a Google search at the top for when you plug in things. So you just plug in your whatever measurement you want to put in there as far as the food. And then even if it's a good guess, that's better than nothing. So don't strain yourself on being exact with it. The closer you can get, the better, but it's not a big deal if you just type in medium chicken breast and type in whatever comes up there, you just use for the macros. So let's go to training. This is going to take a little longer to go over. So it's effectively a 6-day, you're training of some fashion 6 days a week. Well, really you're training in some fashion 7 days a week, but I'll get to that at the end. Your week will consist of 2 jiu-jitsu sessions. If you can get a third in, that would be good, and I'll talk about that later. 2 resistance training sessions. We're going to do 1 upper body, 1 lower body. And then you're going to have 1 day that's a conditioning drill. The last workout, the 6th workout, is kind of we'll call it an optional workout. With this being focused on recovery, having you overtrained is not going to help you. So although you want to push the volume a little bit, which this will be, I'm sure, you don't want to be overdoing it where you are overtraining. There are times overtraining is fine, but when you're going through a 12-week program like this, and you're especially trying to build some muscle, overtraining would not be what I would suggest. Everybody's different. If you were 21 and already an athlete and on steroids, it would be different. You could train, like a lunatic and get away with it. But at, your age, our age, whatever, you can't do that every single day without having diminishing returns, and then that takes away from your gains. Yes, it makes you tough, but it doesn't give you what you're looking for as far as your health and your longevity, and in this case, building muscle. So, what the week would look like, and again, I'll break this down in the email, is I believe you train jiu-jitsu Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Monday would be a resistance session, let's say upper body. Okay. Tuesday is going to be your jiu-jitsu. Wednesday will be your conditioning drill. Thursday, jiu-jitsu. Friday, your lower body workout. Saturday is your optional workout, which could be another jiu-jitsu class throughout the week. This is also a day where if something happens throughout the week to one of those sessions and you have to push the sessions a day, you can do that. You can clean everything up on Thursday or on Saturday, sorry. But there will be an optional workout for you. So, what these resistance training look like, this is going to be the longest to explain. With your resistance session, the way that I teach this type of training is to be as safe as possible, also as effective as possible. These workouts, the resistance sessions on their own, will take about 30 minutes. They might go to about 45 at first if you're figuring out the weights, but based on the fact that you have only a certain number of weights, I believe I've determined what you should be using for most of these pretty well. But if I'm off and you have to use a different weight, then you have to use a different weight. So with all of these exercises, when it's talking about the body weight or it's talking about so each one of these is a combination of your own body weight, resistance tools like dumbbells or your Bulgarian bag, and also isometrics. I'm going to do a couple of isometrics for you. So with the body weight and let's say the dumbbells, or in your case your kettlebells, the cadence, the rep cadence is probably the biggest difference that you have maybe not done or not seen before. And lifting a weight slowly is no less effective than lifting it fast. It's just a lot safer for your joints. So I truly believe in this type of training. I've been doing it for over 2 years now, and I've never seen any more. It's the most gains without the really sore joints like I was getting before. So everything is done very, very slowly and controlled. and we're going slow and controlled to momentary muscular failure. Now, every one of these is only one set required. You don't need to do multiple sets. So you're basically doing, I think it's 8 exercises, and you're doing one set to failure. Now, if you pick the wrong weight, and then you have to do it, and you have to redo the set, that's different, that's fine. For an example of how long the sets should be, so when you're doing a set, it should be from 30 seconds, should be the minimum, and it can go all the way to 2 minutes. So if you're getting to a set that is taking you past 2 minutes, let's say, as you increase the resistance in, say, 5 or 6 weeks, you will have to increase the resistance by adding more weight, having a heavier weight. So you want to hit failure somewhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes for all of these exercises, except for the isometrics, which are done a different way, which I will show you. So the cadence being slow is probably the biggest thing to get used to. So I'll give you an example for the first exercise. Kellen is my trusty cameraman today, so hopefully he's not still sleeping. Hopefully he hasn't fallen. Have you fallen asleep yet?
No.
Okay. So the first exercise on the upper day is a push-up, and I'm going to explain the cadence a little bit with this because there's also an isometric. The push-up is a very good exercise. Basically, the lack of equipment that you have, the push-up's going to be that's going to be your big pressing exercise. So your big horizontal pressing exercise will be the push-up. So just as normal, you want your elbows tucking in a little bit, engage your lats and so on. This becomes very important when you're doing this slowly. So this is what it's going to look like. Your cadence for these exercises is anywhere from 5, you can even do longer, but 5 seconds positive, 5 seconds negative, okay? Or in this case, negative positive. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to keep doing it slower and slower, and then up. And you're trying to do it slow. You're trying to do it hard. Now, if right to the ground is a problem and you're seeing that you're failing after, only like 10 or 15 seconds, then go to an elevated platform. Do it on maybe your second stair, on the set of stairs, or the second stair on the bottom. Do it on an angle. Okay, it's better than don't do push-ups from your knees. You want to do it from an elevated surface. Okay, so for push-ups, you find your cadence, you hit your maybe 90 seconds and you fail. When that's done, you're going to finish with an isometric. So 30 seconds at elbows just bent just slightly. 30 seconds about halfway, and then 30 seconds chest just off the mat. Okay? So you do your push-ups till you fail, stop the timer, reset the timer right into those 3 positions for isometrics. That is your only horizontal push exercise for that. Now I'm going to go through all of these exercises for you fairly quickly because I have a lot of them to go through. If you have any questions about them, just let me know, okay? 1 arm row with your kettlebell, okay? Probably going to be a 45 here. You're lifting with your elbow up. So the grip is just to hold the weight. You're pulling with your elbow up. Same cadence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze. And so on, okay? Next is overhead press. I would be using your dumbbells, your 20-pound dumbbells. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of weight, but when you're doing them slowly, it will work. So elbows back, up, touch in the middle, down. Try not to lock out your arms with any of these because that means the weight is resting on your bones and it's not working the muscle. So quick turn around from the top and down. Slow, negative, and up. If you find that that's not enough, or over the course of a few weeks you need to add resistance, you do have your 25-pound kettlebell, you could do them one-handed. Make sure with the kettlebell you're turning back this way and turning your hand, okay? Isometric lat pull down or a pull up. I didn't see you having a pull up bar anywhere. If you do, you can stand on a chair and you can do them. You can use your legs to pull yourself up, okay? And just keep that tension on your lats. I would suggest this grip, actually, more of a chin up grip. But This is the world famous forearm forklift. This is what I use for isometrics. If you don't have one, you could use any type of, you could use your belt, whatever, okay? I just like these because they have the hand holes or whatever, the hand slots. So, an isometric pull down. So you figure pretend like you're on doing a pull-up, right? But we're trying to get that tension in our lats like we're doing a pull-up, okay? But we're holding that tension. Now, how the isometrics work is you're going to set your timer. So 30 seconds is going to be about 50 or 60%. You're just finding and holding the tension where you're supposed to feel it, which in this case is your lats, your biceps, okay? The next 30 seconds, you are putting more effort into it, more intensity. You're probably looking at about 70 or 80%. Same thing, holding that tension. Then as soon as that clicks over to a minute, and it's the last 30 seconds, you're going from about 70 or 80%, just like you would with a choke, okay? 80, 81, 85, 90, 95, and you're going harder and harder and harder until the last 5 or 10 seconds is you trying to literally rip this strap in half. And then at the 90-second mark, you stop it. So 30 seconds at 50, 30 seconds at 80, 30 seconds going from 80 to 100 slowly. I don't believe in direct skill transfer from this to, say, isometric strength in jiu-jitsu, but I do believe from a mental standpoint, you do understand a little bit more on how to hold that squeeze, okay? Again, I don't believe in the full transfer. Some people do, but these are also a really, really good, it's a nice strain on your nervous system. You're working really hard. The intensity is definitely there. So that's an isometric. Now, if you do get one of these straps, you can use this for a couple more of the exercises. So the overhead press that I said, you can use the strap for that. You can do an isometric version of it. If you were to have a shoulder injury, let's say, I would suggest getting the straps. There's nothing safer than isometrics. Okay. Skull crusher. So that's your 45-pound kettlebell. So you're going to grab this is a 35, but your 45-pound kettlebell behind your head like this. Okay? And you're lifting up. I would just have the thumbs hooked. That is a skull crusher. Okay? Works your triceps directly. You try to, with these programs, as you'll see, especially getting into the end of this workout and the second one, I'm trying to hit your whole body in a week, right? My theory on training is to train your full body. You could add in a couple body parts that recover faster twice a week, but you're training your full body once a week, and what that's doing is making you bigger and stronger everywhere to then practice your sport, okay? I don't believe in things that, you should be doing an exercise like a Turkish get-up makes you any better at standing up in people's jiu-jitsu, anything more than overhead pressing and squatting would. But anyways, try not to ramble here. Standing bicep curl, okay? You could do this with isometric again. If you don't have that, you have your 20-pound dumbbells, okay? Palms up, okay? Palms up. Upright row. This could be your 45-pound kettlebell. This could also be your 20-pound dumbbells. What we're doing is we're lifting from here up like this. This is for your traps, your upper back and traps. Kellen. Thank you. Upper back and traps. Okay? So your, again, could be the dumbbells just beside each other. Like this. Okay? Like that. Okay, your elbows kind of come out at the end, and that puts the tension on your upper traps, okay? Trap work will help out with your neck strength, okay? And then you're going to do forearms. So your 20-pound dumbbells, you might even have to use lower. You're doing forearm flexion, okay, this way. And then you can sit down and do forearm extension. These you might need lighter weights for, because these are tough, okay? I would say that we do a ton of this in jiu-jitsu, but we don't do any of this, okay? So your forearm extension is important, and also grip work. If you don't have something to do grip with, you can just grab something that's bigger, like any type of larger piece here, and you're squeezing it isometrically, and that you can just hold nice and hard for 60 seconds, and that's your forearm. So that's your upper body workout. So once you come in, feel free to get warm if you like to, but you can also always kind of get warm on the just a quick little warm up just to get your temperature up before you hit those push-ups. So that's the whole thing. Push-ups, one arm row, overhead press, isometric lat pull down, skull crusher, standing bicep curl, upright row, forearm, three exercises for forearms. That's your whole workout, probably about 30 minutes. Again, it's just one set until you fail, and then drop and move on to the next exercise. 1 to 3 minutes between sets. Okay. Now we're going to go to the lower body. Lower body, we're going to use your Bulgarian bag a little bit more. So the first one's a slow squat. Bulgarian bag over the shoulders. Same cadence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With the squats, one thing I like to do to make them harder is that after you're starting to feel that failure, you're not going to go all the way down and all the way up. You're going to stay in the middle third. So you're going to stay right about here. That's your last few reps. Then what you're going to do is drop the Bulgarian bag once you start to fail, and you're going to continue that slow squat with just your body weight. Okay? And then the same thing, you're going to stay right in this middle portion. Now this set, I talked about things staying under 2 minutes. This set could definitely go longer than 2 minutes with the body weight stuff. That's okay. Legs are more built for endurance, so you can get away with longer sets for those. Okay. The good morning, same position for the Bulgarian bag, but we're leaning forward like this. It's like stick your ass out, okay, and your chest comes out, and you're doing this. Okay, really good for your low back. Ab wheel, you know that. Same cadence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Nice and slow. Russian twist, okay, you know one of those. Sit in this crunch position and over to here. It doesn't have to be 5 seconds each, but do it as slow as you possibly can with your legs up, okay? Calf raises, Bulgarian bag, nice and slow up, nice and slow down, as slow as you can. These are hard because it's a balance aspect to it. So if you end up having to go faster with these, that's okay. Just go the same thing, go until you can't go anymore. Tib raises, these might be new for you. I absolutely love these, okay? You're gonna lean up against the wall, okay? Ideally you would be able to have your feet flat on the ground. I have my mats down, so I can't do that. And you're going to lift your body weight up like this. Just think like butterfly hooks. It works these muscles right here, okay? So we're effectively, with the lower body workout, we're effectively working out all of the legs, or most of it, at least indirectly, your abs, low back, obliques, okay? So we're lifting up like this. Nice and slow. Same cadence. You try to do as slow as you can with everything. Again, it's not that it's more effective, it's just that it's safer. Deadlift. The deadlift you could do with an isometric strap if you do get one, or you could do it with your Bulgarian bag. If you're doing it with your Bulgarian bag, that's going to be pretty light, so you're going to have to do probably a lot of reps. So what this looks like for a deadlift, get your feet set up, strap, grab the straps, and you're pulling up, okay? Isometric deadlift is brutal, but amazing. If you're doing it with your Bulgarian bag, you're lifting it off of the floor and you're going all the way up, but not resting at the top. As soon as you're about to go to the top, you start to slow back down. As slow as you can, and not touch the ground, just hover and then come back up again. That one you're going to have to do really, really slow, because I think you said it's 50 pounds for the Bulgarian bag, so you'll have to do that really, really slow. And then the body weight, will take the longest, but probably the most important for grapplers is neck, okay? Especially for us skinny guys. So, you're going to set a timer, 30 seconds, nice and slow from the center to the right or to the left. 30 seconds to the right, 30 seconds, nod your head chin to chest, 30 seconds from the center to the left, 30 seconds center to the right. Then 30 seconds pushing the back of your head into the floor as hard as you can, and then 30 seconds pushing your forehead into the mat as hard as you can. 30 seconds pushing into your hand, okay? You can't really go, it's hard to go to failure with neck, so I don't suggest it, especially with any kind of resistance like weights or something. But you're pushing into your hand, and you start at, say, 50%, 60, 70, 80, 90, until you're pushing really hard by the end of the 30 seconds. Then you switch into this way, okay? And then you're going to grab your face, and you're going to turn your face like this into your hand pushing your face. 30 seconds that way, 30 seconds that way, okay? I know that's a lot of exercises, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's 11, 30 seconds for 11 different directions, but that's going to hit all the areas of your neck, okay? I add neck to the lower body because you're training your traps, which is a little bit of neck on upper, so it's okay. And this splits up the exercises. So squat, good morning, ab wheel, Russian twist, calf raises, tib raises, deadlift, then your neck at the end. The neck one takes, I think it's like about 6 minutes for me when I do it. So that's your 2 resistance sessions. The main thing with these is that you want to be recovered. So if something happens and you're pulling up to Friday and you're drained, your legs are zapped from whatever you're doing, maybe on Thursday jiu-jitsu was rough and your legs are zapped, so you don't feel great for that training session on Friday. What I would suggest is to not do it. I would suggest to wait and have that as that Saturday bonus workout day. Again, if you have to skip a class, that's your way to make up for it. You don't want to be overtrained heading into these workouts. You want to be as fresh as you can be. You're never going to be perfect, but you want to be fresh for these workouts as much as you can. Crucial part of this is that you're timing it and you're tracking this. So you're writing down 1 arm row, 45-pound kettlebell, and then you time yourself, and you're going to say it's 65 seconds for each arm. So that means the next week when you look at it, you go, okay, last week I did 65 seconds. This week I want to do 70 seconds. You're trying to increase your resistance each week. That's the idea. Progressively overloading your muscles. Effectively, what you're doing when you do this is you're putting stress on a muscle or a bunch of muscles at the same time, and then it sends a signal to your brain saying, okay, next time that they do that, because of how intensely I had to work, I have to get bigger and stronger for that. So tracking is really, really huge. Same thing with the food, the tracking with the exercises is big too. Now, that's resistance sessions. Let's get to the other one that's very important, which is your conditioning drill. Now, I told you that there's going to be some stuff about this that you're probably not going to like. And as much as there are a lot of different tools, when you don't have access to those tools, your own body weight can be a great tool. And what we're going to use for this conditioning drill is the burpee, okay? I know this might be upsetting for you. We're doing a specific kind of burpee that you have to count for. So you have to talk while you're doing it. The benefit of this is as you're moving your body continuously and you're talking through it, it's harder to get breath because you're constantly saying, you are keeping a rhythm with breathing by talking, but it is sometimes a little harder to get a breath, which is good. You want to feel like somebody's standing on your chest after a workout like this. So I'm going to break this down in detail or more detail in the email, but for the video portion of this, I want to show you first the burpee we're using, which is the 6-count burpee. Okay, so you got me a good angle here, Kellen?
Nothing one.
Okay.
There.
He is going to get paid for this, by the way, just so you know, Sam. Okay, so start off in the position here. Hands go to the mat, feet kick back, full push up, feet return, stand up. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. Okay? As an example. So how we're going to use this for conditioning is we're going to escalate the intensity of and the duration of these sets every week for at least 6 weeks. So this is what it looks like. You are going to do as many of those as you can in 3 minutes. So let's say that you do 40, just a round number. You hit 40 in round 1. What you're doing for the first week, okay, is 3 rounds of 3 minutes. So you do as many of those as you can in 3 minutes. You have 1 minute rest, and then you repeat it. And rest, and repeat. Now, every subsequent round, you want to be within 2 of your first round. So if you do 40, your second round is 38. So that means that you, in that minute of recovery, you're trying to recover and focus on that next round, okay? Now, once those rounds are completed, you're going to follow up directly after with either a run or, let's say, a 20-minute run or a 20-minute on your spin bike. The reason for this is as you spike your heart rate, if you can, what this helps with really with combat sports, but you can spike your heart rate with something intense and calm down through exercise. So you're going to calm down as you're moving, which will be running or spin bike. Now, obviously, running is a little bit more challenging than your spin bike, so we're going to add a little bit of a punishment element to this. Let's say that you do 40 on your first round, and then you do 39 on your second round, and then your third round you only do 35. That means that you failed getting within 2 reps of the previous round, which means if you fail, you're going to run. If you succeed in those burpees and you're getting within 2, then you can go on your spin bike, okay? It's for 20 minutes. So the whole workout will take about, again, actually no, sorry, we're going to change that to a 30-minute. I meant 30 minutes. 30-minute bike or 30-minute run. I don't care how fast you do it, just as long as you don't stop moving. So you're continuously running for 30 minutes, okay? If you didn't mention anything, the exercises you can't do, so I'm assuming running is fine. If it turns out it's not fine, then go on the bike. You're just going to have to keep a faster cadence. Anyways, the next week, so how this is going to escalate, week 2, 3 3-minute rounds, but only 30 seconds rest between, not a minute. Then your next week is going to be 2 6-minute rounds with a minute rest. The week after, 2 6-minute rounds, 30 seconds rest. Then we're going to go right to the 12-minute drill, which is the idea of this whole thing, is that you can sustain a high level of output for 12 minutes straight. I've done this 12-minute drill a lot of times, and usually how we do it is you're doing 3 rounds of the 12-minute drill with 2 minutes rest between. So that is an absolutely, that will fry you. We're not going to quite get there, but you are going to work up to that 12 minutes and try to beat that 12 minutes week after week after week, ending with your